Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special webinar on AWS Security Best Practices. Today, I'm Debashish Roy, the Senior Network Analyst at the Indian Cybersecurity Solution, and I welcome you all to this special webinar. So let's start. Let me share my screen first. Just a minute. So AWS has a very secure environment, and we will talk about the AWS security. And AWS security is based on a shared responsibility model and will cover mainly the IAM roles here in case of AWS, and will provide the insights into securing the AWS environment. It has a shared responsibility model, so we will learn about the responsibilities about the AWS and about the data centers and the customers. So both have the responsibility to share the AWS services and uh, and to secure the environment. As we know that AWS is the biggest market leader in the cloud provider, so definitely security is a very important matter. So it has IAM policies, that is identity and access management, and also the multi-factor authentication, and also the security keys. About the privileges, we will see how to escalate the privileges to build a secure cloud environment. And we will also see the security groups and the network ACLs, as the NACL, for VPC and EC2 instances to prevent the DDoS attacks in the cloud infrastructure. That is also a part of this network security of AWS. And also the data encryption, that is a key, very key for the data security also in the case of AWS, say for EC2 instance, and also for S3 bucket, and also for EBS storage, also KMS, key management service. That is very basic to encrypt the S3 bucket and the EBS and also EC2 instance. Say for example, if you are going to launch an EC2 instance, you have to provide that KMS. So that is also part of security, but main is the IAM roles that I talked about. And also the logging and monitoring, that is also a very important part. Means not only you need to secure the environment, but you have to monitor and log the activities. And for that, you have the AWS CloudWatch that we know for monitoring, and CloudTrail, that is for security visibility. And also automation, as we know that everywhere it is automation, not only in cloud but in any networking platforms. And for that, AWS services like config and guard duty is there for threat detection. And we'll learn to implement the security automation also to enhance the cloud security posture. Incident response is also a very essential for building that shared responsibility model in the AWS, and to report the security breaches in AWS environment. And we'll learn about best practices about the security incident handling and response. Compliance and governance is also a very important part. You have to make the rules, you have to understand the compliance requirements and implement the effective governance measures, and it is crucial for AWS security purpose. So everybody should learn how to align with industry standards and regulatory requirements in the cloud. You have to make a strong security policy and governance for the AWS security part. So we can definitely conclude that the importance of prioritizing the AWS security is very essential to safeguard your cloud infrastructure. You do not only make the cloud infrastructure or the cloud data centers, but you need to make some secure environments by the ACL, by KMS, by firewalls. Otherwise, your infrastructure will be vulnerable to the attacks. So to empower your organization with the knowledge and tools to maintain a secure AWS environment, that should be the goal. And now we will see about the IAM roles. So IAM is the identity and access management. This is actually the security policies or the permissions that you give to the AWS environment, and we should learn the comprehensively about this AWS IAM roles. It is like the permissions, you can say, in any OS. So if, say for example, you talk about the NTFS permissions or share permissions or any permission in the Linux environment, and this IAM is actually the practices, security considerations, and practical examples of the this access control list ACL that we say about the OS. Is a part of the discretionary access control list or DACL that you find in any OS. So we should understand the IAM roles that are fundamental components of AWS security, and they define a set of permissions that can be assumed by a user or resource. And by understanding the IAM roles and or functions or policies, one can effectively manage access to AWS resources and services. Now, what are the best practices for IAM roles? Now, IAM roles, one should design and manage the IAM roles uh, very effectively, and including the principle of least privilege means who will get which type of privilege. Say, for example, one will not be able to access the EC2 instance, or EC2 full access will not be given to somebody. He will be only restricted to read access. So, this type of permissions will be assigned. So, this role assumptions and implementing IAM role rotation will be implemented for enhanced security. So security is again paramount when it comes to IAM roles. So security considerations such as credential management, monitoring role activity, and implementing the multi-factor authentication. Yes, that is MFA is a very important part. Not only the one-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. Say, for example, you are being asked to provide the password, security key, multiple type of keys to authenticate for better security. That is called as multi-factor authentication, and that is also a part of the IAM roles. And you have to create the IAM roles involving defining the trust policy and the permission policies to define what actions can be performed. So we'll definitely explore the steps to create and manage IAM roles in AWS. And we'll be assigning the permissions and policies also that are granted to the role. We'll explore the use of inline policies and managed policies, and the granular access means the access control list. If you give the access control list, if you make, so there, how can you manage this access, and the granular control we'll see. And also the cross account assumption and the federation trust, that is the trust between the two domains, that we say cross platform trust or cross account role assumption, or with external identity providers, and integrating IAM roles with AWS services like Lambda service and S3 bucket. S3 service is also very important. So we have to secure these services with the IAM rules. What is the purpose of IAM rule? To secure the services, and these roles will be given to the objects like the users and groups. Effective monitoring and auditing of IAM roles is crucial for maintaining security and compliance. And so definitely this auditing, this monitoring, this is very important, because who is using this role? If any, say any attacker is trying to attack our system, our server, so we have to effectively monitor and audit also. These audit policies are very important. So we'll summarize the best practices for mastering the IAM roles here, and we'll emphasize the key takeaways and provide a quick reference guide in implementing IAM role for security and management. So with that note, now I would like to take you to the practical part of the IAM roles in the AWS console. So this is the AWS console that you can see. This is where you find, just search in the AWS console the IAM. There you go to the IAM dashboard, and here you have the MFA, multi-factor authentication. You can add it for your root account, your root user, because in that case you have to have a component or application like Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator, say in your smartphone. So you have to scan a QR code, and then you have to provide multiple keys to log into your account. So let's say I'm clicking on add MFA, and here you have to give the device name, that is the smartphone device name, and authenticator app. Say you are using any authenticator app, or you have to use a security key or any such thing, and then you have to give a name, say anything, say Nokia 123 or something. Click on next, and you just click on show QR code. So this is the code that you have to scan in the Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator app. So you have to download that app from the Google Play Store or the anywhere, and you have to install that, and then two codes will come. If you scan that this QR code, then this MFA code 1 and 2, it will dynamically be changed. So randomly it will come, and you have to provide that code. Once you attach this MFA, multi-factor authentication, to your account, then you have to provide these two codes to log into your account. So once you do that, that is very secure. Your AWS account will be very secure. Okay. Now, in case of IAM, that is one part, but the main part is this access management. That is the users group, these roles, policies. This is about the AWS security measures. So here you can create a user, that is a IAM user, because by default we log in with root user access, but here we'll create a user. Give any username, say ISIS123, and just click on provide user access to the AWS management console. Although it is optional, but you have to provide it if you want that user will be able to access the AWS console. And I want to create an IAM user, click on it, then you get the console password, because if the IAM user is going to access the console, he needs a password. Two options are there: auto generated, then the AWS will generate it, or custom, you can give a password. Say I'm giving a password, and click on user must create a new password. You can keep it checked. So when the user logs in, he needs to change the password, or else you can uncheck it. Click on next, and you can add the user to a group. Say for example, you are making a group and you are adding many users to the group, and you are assigning permissions or IAM roles to the group. The same concept as the OS, you can do it, or you can attach policies directly or copy permissions from other groups or users as well. Say attach policies, and you have different policies. So here you have to search. So just search Amazon, and you will be able to get different policies. EC2 full access, or EC2 say read only access, that I told you. And you have different accesses or policies for different services: Lambda service, container service. You can just search here. Click on next. So it has only Amazon EC2 read only access, and just create the user. So this is the user, and you just copy that link and you just paste that. Here you have the account ID. You can log in only with this account ID, and I'm user name. So you give the name. So you just verify. See, the root user is logged out. So here you are logged in with the IAM user. You can see, and it has got the account ID also. So you just go to the EC2. See, all these features are not available because it has only read only access. So this is not available for this IAM user. It is only available for the root user. And click on the instances, click on launched instance, say any Windows server, any instance, and just give any key pair. The same thing, create security group. It is also a part of the security infrastructure. The security group, as we know, that this RDP traffic is allowed for Windows instance, and for Linux the default is SSH. So this is a part of the security group, means the firewall rules. So just click on launched instance. But see, the error comes, instance launch failed. Why? Because we have only given the EC2 read only access to this user. So this IAM user cannot launch an instance. This way, you can provide security to the AWS infrastructure. If you give the full access EC2 Amazon EC2 full access, then the user will be able to launch that instance. And if you do not provide that security, then he will not be able to launch that instance. Or say S3 bucket, he cannot upload any file or any document to the S3 bucket, or EBS storage, he cannot create any volume. So this is a very powerful tool, this IAM, to create the security infrastructure and also the MFA that I showed you. So again, we'd like to see some more information about the MFA. So you have to enhance the security with the AWS multi-factor authentication. So AWS multi-factor authentication, it is providing an extra layer of protection and security, and it helps safeguard against unauthorized access and protects the sensitive data that I have already told you, that it is a measure to guarantee you from the unauthorized access to your system. Exploring the multi-factor authentication, it is in fortifying security. MFA requires users to provide two or more verifications, either two or more verification factors to gain access, such as password and unique code. So we have already seen that if you scan that QR code, then two codes come. It may be two or more than that. So without that, you cannot log into your account. So it is an extra measure of security. And this ensures an added layer of security for accessing AWS resources and services for all user accounts. Key best practices for maximizing the effectiveness of AWS multi-factor authentication includes that for all users, regularly reviewing access policies and monitoring MFA usage. So already we have created users, and already we have seen the policies and roles that we can assign to the users. And the understanding how MFA works, it will align it with the compliance requirements such as the GDPR, HIPAA, and PCI DSS. So definitely these are the security bodies, and this MFA is aligned with them. MFA provides an additional layer of security to meet regulatory standards. Leveraging the MFA to secure remote and mobile workforce, and MFA ensures secure access to AWS resources from any location, strengthening the overall security posture. Yes, this MFA is global, so you can access it from any, say, smartphone, any device from any locations geographically, and yes, it provides you with definitely a great security environment. Exploring how AWS MFA contributes to safeguarding user identities, you have to understand that, and MFA helps prevent unauthorized access and protects against identity theft. So, summarizing, the importance of AWS MFA is enhancing the security measures, and by implementing MFA, organizations can significantly reduce the risk of unauthorized access and data breaches. So, if you are going to implement only one way or two-way authentication, in that case, there is a chance that data will be breached, there will be some hacking attempt. But if you have multiple levels of authentication, then it is definitely very difficult for one to attack or hack into your account. So that is the thing that MFA ensures. So all these things combined together builds a strong AWS security infrastructure or security platform, we can say. This key management service, this passwords, this authentication key, this IAM roles, that is a very pivotal role it has to build a secure AWS infrastructure. So altogether, these security rules or the firewall rules and the network ACLs, that thing, like you are um, using RDP protocol port 3389 to connect to any Windows instance. You are using SSH port 22 to connect to any Linux instance, and you are providing that access. You are providing the permission of the security group, and you are building the ACL according to that. So this actually builds a strong foundation, a very strong foundation for cloud security and AWS security infrastructure. So we have discussed both theoretically about the AWS security best practices, how to build a very strong AWS secure environments, and also we have seen the practicals of both for MFA, multi-factor authentication, how you can set the MFA to build more secure environment for logging to your account, and also we have seen the IAM rules, how to set the IAM roles and policies, how to create the IAM user, and how you logging with the IAM user and how to implement the user roles groups there. So this was about a brief understanding of about the AWS security and its best practices. So that is about the AWS security, how to strengthen the security measures as the AWS grows day by day, and the cloud data centers are becoming important day by day today. So building a very secure environment is definitely important for you. And for the summer training course, we have definitely an offer here. So you have to check the comment section of the quiz link. There is a quiz going on for the on the networking, and the first three persons who will get the best answers, they will get the summer training course absolutely for free. And also the five others will get the 50% discount on this course. So I will just share this link. I'm sharing this link in the chat box provided here. So here, this is a link of the form. So you can click on this form and you can answer the questions. This is a very good offer for you, and just avail this offer right now. So this is about the webinar on the AWS security best practices, security measures, and strategies, where we discuss all aspects of the AWS security platforms. I hope that you have got a good knowledge and foundation on the AWS security right now, and it was beneficial for your cloud career, as the AWS is the biggest market leader in the AWS, the cloud environment. There are other clouds also like the Azure or the Google Cloud, but AWS is definitely the market leader in the cloud. So that is all about I have for today about AWS security and the webinar. I will come with some new topics very soon. And thanks all of you for joining and attending this webinar. I hope to see you soon. And that is it for today. Bye for now. Bye.